Hi, everybody.
Hello.
Happy Halloween, wieners.
It's the time of year, the time when it's slightly spookier than usual, because every day is Halloween in my heart.
This year, we're doing a show that we were going to do last year and then didn't.
Don't come for us. We have our reasons.
Yeah.
But it's here now, so shut up.
Yeah. Happy last Halloween, everybody.
Happy last Halloween this Halloween.
Play the opening. What was the opening? Was it good?
It was alright. Wasn't my favorite.
I don't remember it very clearly. I should have watched it again.
Was the last time you watched it Wednesday when we were supposed to record this?
Yeah.
You fool.
And I didn't make any notes about it. I think I liked it, though.
Yeah, it wasn't bad. It didn't really stand out like Wild Vision.
Didn't stand out for good or bad reasons. I've still got Tak and the Power of Juju stuck in my head, so...
I would have assumed that it was at least Yokai Watch.
No. Well, because Tak and the Power of Juju is the most recent episode I edited, so...
That's true. You had to listen.
Yeah, that's the last song I heard. So... Oh, we didn't say what it was, did we? It's Corpse Party.
Yay! We're throwing a party and every corpse is invited.
Yeah, I really didn't know much about Corpse Party. Did you?
I have been interested in this series for a long time, but I've never picked it up.
Yeah, you're the one who suggested it, so I assumed you had some history.
Yeah, I've watched some videos on it when I came to the conclusion that I was probably never going to get around to playing them because they're scattered across so many different consoles and stuff. And there's a lot of... Some of them are better than others. Like, even just ports of the same game, people will say are better on one platform than another. I was like, this is a lot of work. Maybe I'll just watch some videos on it. So I know a little bit.
From what I read, because I did some reading on it, for the most part, the ports... Each successive one is better. So, like, each one adds new chapters. So every time they port it to something new, they add an extra chapter or two. So you always just want to buy whatever the newest port is, basically.
Yeah, but they're still going to try to sell you all of the old ones, and so you have to be really careful about which one you buy.
Yeah, I would just say, I mean, apparently the most recent release was on PC in 2021. And everyone's saying that that's like currently the definitive one. It has everything from all the other ones plus something new. So
Okay, maybe I'll actually get that one of these days.
yeah, it's pretty recent. But let's talk about the first one. Because this had a pretty interesting origin, kind of like Higurashi did.
Yeah, because this started off as like a tiny development team RPG Maker game, right?
Yeah, as far as I can tell, it was just one guy. The developer of the original Corpse Party is listed as Kenixsoft, which seems to just be basically a pseudonym for the developer Makoto Keduin. I think they go by Team Gree now. I think that's still him, and possibly other people that he's hired.
Mm-hmm.
They're also known for Virgin Queen, Tsunoda Thunder. Never heard of either of those.
No.
But the original Corpse Party came out in 1996.
That's older than I would have guessed.
Yeah, me too, by about 10 years.
Yeah.
It was made using RPG Maker 98, which I think was the first RPG Maker I had. Remember old RPG Maker back when it was fan translated and free?
I do and I don't. I remember RPG Maker because for some reason we had a PlayStation version of it, I think.
Oh, yeah. I knew that existed.
I don't know why.
Yeah, they did I think there's a Super Nintendo one too. Yeah, I had RPG Maker 98 and then I had 2000 and then I had 2003, and that was back before they were getting official releases in English. So now you can just get it on Steam officially, and it costs a lot of money, so wait till the sale happens.
Didn't they have a bundle like 10 years ago where you could get it for free?
Did they? I don't know.
It's one of the older ones, obviously. I know they have like 17 million versions.
Yeah, I don't even know what the current RPG Maker is. I haven't played with RPG Maker in a long time.
Yeah, because as it turns out, making video games is hard.
Well, also, my problem with RPG Maker is that I can never quite do exactly what I want. I think if I'm going to make a video game, I need it to be on a more customizable engine than RPG Maker.
Yeah.
I know there's a ton of stuff that people can do. Like, back when I was using the old one, I downloaded scripts people have written to, like, have a day-night cycle and stuff like that.
I was gonna say, like, the fan community around it is crazy, so you can get all kinds of scripts to make it more workable, but then that requires finding them.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I'm not smart enough to come up with those scripts myself, and it takes so long to find ones for the specific things that I want to do. So I think I'll probably be better off using a more general game engine and just, like, coding it myself. That sounds even harder now that I say it out loud.
Right, you don't know how to code.
Well, I could learn. Maybe. Anyway. Since the game is so old, and it was an indie game, I was wondering how the heck did this get released? Because I didn't know where indie games were coming from in 1996.
Was it just like an old GeoCities site that you could download it from?
No, this is like even earlier than that. The internet hadn't even really taken off yet.
That's true.
So, I mean, the internet was around, but most people didn't have it in their homes yet by 96. No, it turns out that it was published in the 6th issue of Login Softcom, a magazine that came with, like, every issue came with a CD with just a bunch of small indie titles on it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where Corpse Party was released originally.
That's cute.
Yeah. And that, like, I guess back then, these software magazines were the equivalent of what, like, itch.io and Steam are now.
Yeah.
That's where you'd find all your small indie titles, just attached to the front of a magazine.
Remember those days?
I never really had any indie games that came with magazines, but I had a ton of demo discs.
Yep, me too.
That's the only way I've ever played Glover.
Oh, Glover. That's such a fever dream of a game.
I could never get it to work properly on my PC at the time. Because it was an early 3D game and my PC could, like, almost handle 3D, but not really. So I had the Glover demo, and all my memories of Glover are of me desperately trying to get this demo to work and never quite getting there.
All of my memories of Glover are rose tinted as hell because I got a ROM of it like 10 years after I had played it as a kid, and I was like, what is this? How do you play this game?
I want to play it. I'm going to stream it sometime.
Okay.
Is it going to be my funeral?
I don't think it's quite that bad, but I remember getting kind of frustrated with it.
So, as I mentioned, Corpse Party was created by Makoto Kedouin, who at the time was a 22-year-old college student.
God, the things that people do when they're young and talented, and I sit here and vegetate.
I know. We could be doing all this if we weren't so depressed and damaged.
If we weren't beset by demons of the past.
Yeah. Kedouin also made Death End Request, which I've never heard of, but it's on Steam.
That's not true. You have heard of it because you bought it for me.
Did I?
Yeah.
I don't remember that.
I haven't been able to play it because my PC couldn't handle it, but when I got the Steam Deck, I was looking through my library, and I think it says it's good to play on the Steam Deck, and I was like, oh yeah, I can finally play this game Mike bought me like 5 years ago.
Alright, I'm going to look it up and see if I recognize it then. Because sometimes I look at things and I'm like, no one like that.
Yeah.
Oh, this does look familiar. Okay. Yes, I know these screenshots. I remember looking through this and thinking it looked like a Mel game.
Yeah, because that wasn't something I had added to my wish list. You sought that out independently.
Yeah, I do that sometimes. Sometimes I'm just looking through a certain tag that I know is something you're into, and I'm just like, which one of these?
Which one of these has the most anime girls?
Yeah. Anyway, in 1997, Corpse Party won the grand prize at the second annual ASCII Entertainment competition.
ASCII Entertainment.
Yeah, take that.
I just think it's a cute name.
It is. But yeah, after winning that award, it kind of just disappeared for a decade. It sounds like at that point the only way you could buy a copy was by emailing Kedouin and asking to buy one. But then, 10 years later, in 2006, Corpse Party was remade and expanded as a mobile phone game.
Weird.
And that one was called Corpse Party New Chapter. I'm assuming because it added a new chapter.
No, really?
And then I don't think it was ever actually finished for phones, but then the mobile phone version got ported to PC as Corpse Party Blood Covered, which was the first version of the game that got officially translated into English. And then it got ported to PSP, which I think was the version that added voice acting. And then now it's on like 3DS and Switch. And there's a newer PC version, which we already talked about.
We did it. We've come full circle. And now we can end this.
And then there's this show. This show got made in between the first PC port and the PSP version, I think. And this anime is called Corpse Party Tortured Souls. The subtitle kind of made me think it was like a side story or, a sequel or something, but
Right.
It is just an adaptation of the original story.
I've seen some of a playthrough of the first game, and it does seem pretty faithful from the first episode.
Yes.
But don't quote me on that.
No, I also watched the first chapter of the game just to see how faithful it was. And it's heavily truncated, but it is faithful with what's there. There's just a lot that's been left out.
Right, but that's the nature of taking a multi-hour video game and turning it into an anime.
Yeah, exactly.
Nobody's gonna want to watch the filler episode where they talk for 20 minutes about nothing.
This show was released on DVD and Blu-ray on July 24th, 2013. If you bought it on DVD, it was 2 volumes, which contained 2 episodes each. But if you bought it on Blu-ray, it was all 4 on one Blu-ray set.
It's only 4 episodes long?
It's only 4 episodes long. Because at the time, I believe the game was only 4 chapters long. So it's literally just a chapter per episode, I'm assuming.
Okay. And like each chapter focuses on a different set of kids, right?
I don't really know what happens beyond chapter 1 too much. I only watched the first chapter of the game, and it does end at the same point this episode does. This actually isn't the first Corpse Party anime, though.
Oh yeah, you mentioned something else, an OVA or something.
Yeah, so the first thing was an OVA called Missing Footage, which I believe came with the PC version, blood covered.
Mm-hmm.
But I checked it out, and it's good. I liked it, but it wouldn't really have worked for our Halloween episode because it's a prequel. It's a prequel about the main characters before anything happens to them.
No, we don't care about their happy school life.
Yeah, so we'll look at it at some point outside of Halloween. It wouldn't make for a good Halloween episode.
Not particularly spooktacular.
Yeah, there's no... I think you see like a very brief bit of the ghost at the very beginning and the very end, but they don't interact with the main kids at all.
Mm-hmm.
It's mostly just the kid. It's mostly just like a slice of life thing leading into the game. So I think it probably is better experienced after the game, honestly.
Yeah, probably, when you actually care about these characters.
Yeah, exactly. This show is produced by Asreed, who also made the Missing Footage OVA. This was made a year after Missing Footage was. So I wonder if they were commissioned to make the OVA for the game's release, and then they were just kind of like, hey, actually, can we just adapt the game too? Because this is good.
That's what it sounds like, yeah.
Yeah. I looked up what else they've done, and they have done a lot of adaptations of visual novels and manga and light novels. They also did the Lord of Vermilion anime based on the Square game of the same name, which I've never heard of.
No, me neither.
No, I didn't know Square did things that weren't Final Fantasy and Kingdom Hearts anymore.
So this is like a recent Square thing?
I actually have no idea. I didn't look too deeply into it. I just saw it on the list and it was like, based on the Square Enix game. And I was like, oh, okay. Never heard of it. Oh, wait, was it the one... It might be the one... I think I did look it up, actually. It might be the one that was like an arcade card game? Yeah.
Ooh!
Yeah, it's a collectible card game for arcades.
I don't quite understand how that works.
No, here, I'm going to send you this picture of the game in action. And I'm assuming the cards have chips in them, like amiibo cards.
Okay. I feel like I'm looking at Yu-Gi-Oh!
Yeah. If there isn't a Yu-Gi-Oh! Game like this, there should be.
I would be extremely surprised if there wasn't, because who doesn't love Yu-Gi-Oh?
Yeah, I guess you have to go to the arcade and bring your card deck, and then you have to place them on that big old screen to play them, and then it makes stuff happen on the screen.
Now, where do I place the heart of the cards? Where is that visible?
The heart of the cards is not visible, it's within you.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, I feel it.
Okay.
I'm gonna summon 5 million Karibo with my heart of the cards.
So at some point we will look at the Lord of Vermilion anime, and I'm sure we'll be just as confused as we were looking at this photograph.
How are they going to incorporate the card game into the show?
I don't know, but I need to.
Me too. Let's stop doing this show right now and watch Lord of Vermilion.
Bye, everyone.
That's the end of Corpse Party.
No, this episode is called Multiple Separation, and it's written by Shoichi Sato. There wasn't much in their filmography that I was familiar with. They wrote a lot of episodes of Ari Fureta from Commonplace to World's Strongest.
Of course.
I don't know what that is.
Me neither.
But it was also by Asreed, so I guess this is a writer that they commonly work with. So, the show.
The show. It starts.
It does. We open up on shots of a dilapidated school building, or as Gordon Ramsay would say, dilapicated.
No, we can't cross that over. We can't turn this into yet another Gordon stream.
And we just hear a child giggling. We see a rope tied around a beam swinging. Pretty clearly it's a noose, but we don't see below the beam.
What could it possibly be foreshadowing?
And then a girl wakes up on the floor of a classroom in this spooky school.
Confused, not knowing where she is or what she's been doing.
Yeah, that's how most of my time at school was.
Same.
This is Naomi Nakashima, who is played by Rina Sato, known for playing Sailor Mars in Sailor Moon Crystal and Eternal. She's the voice of A in Xenoblade Chronicles 3. I haven't played 3 yet, so I don't know who that is. She was Makoto in Persona 5, another game I own and haven't played yet.
Same. Not same, I don't own it. I want to play it. That's the same thing.
And she was Velvet in the Tales of series, and she's Vert in Hyperdimension Neptunia. So there's a lot of roles. There's a lot of things.
That's some things. Those are some names.
She finds her student ID, and there's a little scrap of ripped paper with it. And
there's nothing on it, but it brings back all of her memories.
Yeah, no, it's flashback time to a ghost story being told in a much less dilapidated school.
A completely different school, even.
Yeah, there's a lot of characters in this scene.
Yeah. We primarily focus on 2 later, but this is a lot to give us all at once.
At least it means that when we come back to this show, I don't have to talk about anybody.
We got another Danganronpa on our hands. Just skip this episode entirely.
Yeah, if you don't want to hear a long list of voice actor credits. I guess the good thing is that this show was never dubbed into English. So
that's true.
I don't have to talk about English voices like I did for Danganronpa.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is nowhere near as many as Danganronpa. Anyway, the ghost story is being told by Ayumi Shinozaki, who, I don't know, this is one of those cases where I'm looking at the names I've written down and I'm like, were these the best known names, or did I just write down the ones I found interesting and then stop?
What do you mean?
Well, the first thing I've written down is that she played Ringo in Puyo Puyo.
Okay.
I don't know. And all else I've written down is that she plays Noir and Blackheart in Hyperdimension Neptunia. And then I just kind of stopped. I don't know if that means that that's all that was there. But it's all I wrote down. That's all you were
willing to write.
Yeah.
Because we got a lot of names to get through.
Yeah, we do. So that's good. We're past so quickly. The story she's telling, the gist of it is, on a rainy night just like this one, a teacher fell down the stairs and died.
The end.
After several murders, the school was shut down, and the headmaster, in his grief, threw himself off the roof of the building. And
yeah, I have to stop you right there. Because I was bothered by how they just glazed over all of the murders that happened in between.
Yeah, I know.
What a weird ghost story. That's the best part.
It's a kid telling the story. This is like fan fiction.
I guess, but I feel like a kid would focus on that part the most.
No, they just want you to know it's spooky scary.
And that a spooky, scary teacher stalks the halls.
Yes, so apparently, according to legend, the school, which was called Heavenly Host Elementary School, was it?
Yeah.
Was torn down, and Kisaragi Academy was built on top of it. Kisaragi Academy being the school that they are currently in.
Do you happen to know if it was always called Kisaragi Academy?
I believe it was. Why?
Because there's that creepypasta about Kisaragi Station. I wonder if one was inspired by the other, or...
Which one is Kisaragi Station? Is that the one with the girl who's, like, texting?
Yeah, and, she gets off at Kisaragi Station, which isn't supposed to exist, and it's all weird and spooky.
Yeah.
I've never actually sat down and read it myself. It's not my super favorite creepypasta, so I wasn't that interested.
Okay, so originally, yes, this has always been named Kisaragi Academy. However, the old school, Heavenly Host Elementary School, was originally called Kisaragi Academy Girls' School. So what changed with the mobile version, I guess, is that I guess originally both schools had the same name, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And then with the newer versions, the old one was now changed to Heavenly Host.
Apparently, Kisaragi Station, as an urban legend, came about in 2004.
Okay.
I assumed it would be after the original Corpse Party since it's so dang old, but
Well, it looks like Kisaragi just means February in Japanese, which I didn't know.
no, me neither.
I
That's a
wonder-
much more boring.
Yeah, I wonder what the significance of that is, though. Like, is there something spooky about the month of February in Japanese?
I don't know, because the spooky time of year in Japan, for one thing, is usually summer.
Yeah.
And then they tell each other ghost stories as a way of cooling themselves down.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Didn't know that. Back to the ghost story.
Sorry, I got very distracted when it happened in the show as well.
According to the legend, the teacher who fell down the stairs does not know that she's dead, and she still wanders the halls on rainy nights. And Satoshi here is clearly scared because he's a bubble-blowing baby.
Bubble blowing baby.
So okay, let's just work our way through the kids sitting in this ghost circle, shall we?
Yeah, get him out of the way.
We've already covered two of them. Now we have Satoshi Mochida, who is played by Hiro Shimono, who I best knew as Rex from Xenoblade 2. I think he's in Xenoblade 3 as well. I don't really know how the story works, because I thought they were all disconnected. But apparently they're not. I don't know.
Everything I know is a lie.
He was also the voice of Zack in Zack and Wiki.
Ooh.
It's the second time this month that show's come up.
Right. Why do they keep springing up unbidden?
He was the voice of Connie in Attack on Titan. He is Dabi in My Hero Academia. And he's Zenitsu Agasuma in Demon Slayer. I don't know anything about Demon Slayer except that it's popular.
Yeah, and allegedly they slay demons.
What?
I know, I couldn't believe it either. I'm still not convinced.
They should put that in the marketing.
They'd make millions.
Who else? We got Mayu Suzumoto, played by Yuka Nanri. She apparently got her voice acting start as the Japanese voice of Bubbles in Powerpuff Girls.
That's cute.
Yeah.
She's the best Powerpuff Girl.
Yeah, she was my favorite. It seems like she's mostly a J-pop singer. Then we've got Sakutaro Morishige.
The nerd.
Is he the nerd? He looks like the nerd.
I'm looking at their portraits right now because I could not for the life of me keep track of any of their names.
No, it always takes me a little bit longer with Japanese names because they're unfamiliar. You know, when they're using English names, it's like, okay, I grew up with those names, so they get into my head quicker.
Right, we all know a Ted and we all hate him. Sorry to any Teds out there.
But when it comes to Japanese names, there's the ones that I am familiar with, like Satoshi I'm familiar with because of Pokemon, so I can remember his name very easily. But then you get the ones that I'm not familiar with, like Sakutaro. And that takes me a little bit longer to drill into my head which one Sakutaro is.
I think he goes by Morishige, if this portrait is to be trusted.
That's his family name, so that would make sense.
Yeah, I know, I'm just saying. Remember the easier one.
Is it easier?
I think it's easier.
Okay. Yeah, so that what? Implies that they're less close with him than they are with the others?
I guess.
Because
like one good thing about this scene is that it gives you in brief a little bit of all of their personalities.
Yeah, I did notice that most of them call Mayu Suzume. Because at first I was like, who the hell is Suzume? There's like no character in this list listed as Suzume. But it's because her name is Suzumoto and they call her Suzume for short. That's cute. That's a cute touch.
Whatever, she's moving away like a loser.
Yeah. Morishige, back to the nerd, is played by Tetsuya Kakihara, who played K1BO in Danganronpa 3. I don't know Danganronpa 3 yet, so I don't know who that is.
Oh, Kibo.
Oh, is it Kibo? There we go then.
Yeah, he's a robot.
Well, I'll probably like him because I like robots.
He's good. I like him.
He's also Prompto in Final Fantasy 15.
Which one is he again?
Prompto is the... Listen. The way I remember who Prompto is that he is the Roxas of the game.
That's what I thought.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, I remember him.
Okay, good. Because Nomura characters come in 3 flavors. Well, male Nomura characters come in 3 flavors. They're either a Roxas, a Cloud, or a Sephiroth.
I don't know.
You know
Roxas
what I mean,
and
right?
Cloud, I do, but Roxas and Cloud seem a little bit too similar to me. I would say like Roxas or Squall.
Well, I think you're right. See, I would say that Cloud is a Squall, but I guess Cloud is kind of the midpoint between a Roxas and a Squall. So that's a judgment call, I think.
Yeah.
I think you can interpret them either way. And then, you also get your wild card ones, like a Barrett. Every now and then Nomura throws us somebody unique.
Yeah, but for the most part, we just get pretty boys.
Still find it so funny. Xenoblade 2 has this one character. I don't remember his name, but I spent the entire game just referring to him as a Sephiroth.
Oh yeah, you told me this.
And then at the very end of the game, I found out that he was guest designed by Nomura.
He very literally is a Sephiroth.
Yep. Anyway, Tetsuya Kakihara is also a singer, and apparently he often appears as an actor in Boys Love drama CDs.
Ooh.
I love that for him.
Me too. That feels wholesome.
Then we have Seiko Shinohara, played by Satomi Arai, who apparently played Trailmon in Digimon Frontier. And that seems to be, like, the main thing that was on the list. Even though it doesn't seem like it was a particularly big role. I haven't watched Digimon Frontier, so I don't know. My knowledge of Digimon anime doesn't extend very far out of the Adventure series. She was also the voice of Ceres and Sylph in the Tales games. And then we have Yoshiki Kishinuma. Now, we don't get to see much of this guy, and he doesn't say very much. But he's already my favorite.
I forgot he was there.
Yeah, the blonde guy?
Yeah.
I like him. He's clearly the cool one.
Mm-hmm.
He's clearly the one who wears a leather jacket outside of school.
And sunglasses in school.
Yeah. He was also the voice of N in Pokemon. He's played Fei Long in Street Fighter 4, and possibly Street Fighters afterwards. I feel like he was Fei Long from Street Fighter 4 onwards, but I've only written down 4 here. He's also the Japanese voice of the MCU Captain America.
Ooh.
So anytime Chris Evans is Captain America, this guy's the voice in Japan. Not just Captain America, he was Chris Evans in a few other things as well, including Knives Out.
I forgot he was in that movie.
Yeah? I still haven't seen that movie.
It's fun. I would recommend it.
What the I'm sorry. I have the Corpse Party wiki open in the background, and apparently every now and then a ghost floats by, and I just noticed it for the first time.
On the wiki?
Yeah.
That's fun.
I never saw it before, and it just caught me off guard. Anyway, the ghost story continues, now that we've talked about all of those children's voices.
Now that you've had a fright from a real-life ghost?
Yeah. Ayumi says that the ghost appears after a blackout, followed by 2 knocks, a slowly opening door, and then a face as white as chalk peering in and asking if you're still in here. And then exactly this happens.
Dun dun dun.
The kids all freak out, but it's just Miss Yui, one of their teachers, clearly.
Was she in on the joke, or was she just over listening to him?
I wondered about this too, because it isn't made clear to us here, is it?
Mm-mm.
In the game, it is made clear that Ayumi and Yui planned this beforehand.
Yeah, my guess would be that she was in on the plot, but it really did sound like she came in and did it all of her own accord.
Yeah, in the game she was definitely in on it. More ambiguous in the show. Because in the game they congratulate each other on the performance after it happens. Also, Satoshi grabbing Naomi's boobs for some reason.
Because it's an anime that takes place in a high school, you gotta have it.
Yeah, this plays out a little bit more realistically in the game. I mean, it does happen, but it happens in the dark while they're panicking. And she just kind of goes, hey, watch where you're grabbing, and then that's the end of it.
Yeah, you don't see a 30-second shot of a full handful of teenage boob.
There isn't this long, drawn-out shot of him just holding her tits while everyone watches. Seiko with great interest. She had a big smile on her face. Anyway, Yui Shishida is played by Miyuki Sawashiro, who we're familiar with.
What did she do?
She was the voice of Toko in Danganronpa.
Oh, okay.
So we've seen her before. We talked about her before on this show.
In another Danganronpa.
Yeah. So anyway, once Satoshi unclenches his fists from Naomi's boobs, a kid shows up with an umbrella.
Just a random lost child that she's brought in.
Yeah. Oh, did the teacher bring her in?
Well, they came in together.
I guess.
I think she said that she. I don't know.
I think she might have said
that.
she found her outside or something.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, I think you're right. So this is Satoshi's sister, Yuka Mochida, who is played by Eri Kitamura, who was the voice of Saya in Blood Plus, apparently.
Oh.
Is Saya the main character?
Yeah.
That's what I thought. Okay. She also played Bee in Pokemon Twilight Wings. Bee is the fighting type gym leader of Sword and Shield.
Oh, yeah.
And she's the voice of Juri in Street Fighter.
Oh, I like Juri.
Yeah, she's pretty cool. I thought it was weird that Satoshi's friends have mostly never met his sister before.
I feel like there's a reason for it.
Well,
that they go into later.
Kishinuma had met her before, but that was it. Nobody else.
Yeah.
I think that does establish that Yoshiki is probably Satoshi's best friend. He's the only one that's met Satoshi's sister.
Mm-hmm.
But that's an assumption I'm making, because we really don't get to see much of Yoshiki in this episode, and I haven't watched further ahead, so...
No, when do we ever watch further ahead? That spoils the fun.
Yeah, only when it's something that I've already watched for pleasure years ago.
Right.
Seiko is weird, right?
Yeah. Seiko and Naomi together, but particularly Seiko.
Yeah, Seiko suggests that Yuka is Naomi's competition for Satoshi's love. And it's like, that's I don't know, that's his little sister. What are we implying?
I don't think she means like that, just that he loves his little sister and he's going to take care of her and put her before most other people.
Well, let's give her the benefit of the doubt and hope that's what she meant.
Why did you immediately take it to a weird place?
She took it to a weird place.
I disagree with that assumption.
Okay. Maybe it's because I watched missing footage.
What does that mean?
You'll find out when we cover it.
Oh no.
Missing footage is a lot more fan servicey. And some of that fan service takes place between Satoshi and his younger sister.
That's not ideal. Oh no.
What?
So I went to the corpse. I went to the Corpse Party wiki because I wanted to see this alleged ghost. I have not seen a ghost, but I did accidentally read something in the trivia about Yuka.
Oh yeah? What did you read?
She's in love with her brother.
Okay, there we go. Alright, well maybe Seiko was right on the money then. Yeah, it's not what we want.
No.
It's not what we want out of this.
I wasn't trying to be right because I wanted to be right, but because I didn't want this to be the truth.
You didn't want my intuition to have been correct.
Yes.
Fair. I enjoyed Naomi casually hurting Seiko here. I just, the way the actors... So, Naomi kind of cheerfully grabs Seiko's cheeks and stretches them. Mm-hmm. And I just enjoyed the way the actors did it. I thought it was funny.
It made it look cutesy, but we all know that she was actually trying to rip her face off.
Yeah, both of them played it well in opposing ways. We've got Naomi's voice actor making it sound playful, and Seiko's voice actor letting us know that it is not playful.
Yeah.
This is where the ritual happens, right? Yeah, so apparently Mayu is moving away. Today was her last day at school. And so Ayumi has gone on the internet and found a charm that they can perform called Happy Sachiko. And if they do this ritual, it will assure that they stay friends forever. They have a paper doll. They all have to stand around it and in their heads chant, "Please Sachiko," 9 times. It has to be 9 times, exactly.
Yeah, I thought it was weird that they had to do it in their heads, and then we just had to watch in silence while they stood there.
Yeah, but I guess that's because... I'm assuming that one of them did it wrong, and that's why it went wrong. And if they had done it out loud, we would have heard that one of them did it wrong. I'm assuming...
And then there goes the suspense for all 4 episodes.
Yeah, I'm assuming that we're going to find out exactly who messed it up at some point. Once they're done with the chanting, they each have to grab part of the doll and tear it apart. And now they have to hold on to that scrap of paper for the rest of their lives. That sounds like a burden to me.
Yeah, I don't think any friendship is worth that. Sorry, Mike.
That's all right. If you gave me a scrap of trash paper, I'm losing that, probably within the day. Not even on purpose.
There's nothing on the paper. It's literally just a ripped piece of white paper.
Yeah.
It's symbolic, but it's also garbage.
Yep. Anyway, once they've done it and they all have their paper scraps, an earthquake happens and a hole opens beneath them, which they all fall into.
And that's how we get to the beginning of the episode.
Yeah, all of this was just a flashback. Now we're back in the present. And this is where the opening plays. We were quite far into it. I honestly didn't think there was going to be an opening sequence because we'd gone so long without one.
Yeah.
So, looking around the room, Naomi found Seiko unconscious on the ground. And is it just me, or did Seiko seem pretty casual about all of this?
She did, but we also need to remember that when Naomi woke up, she was the same way. She couldn't remember what had happened.
That's true, yeah.
So it's just showing us that Seiko was the same way. She couldn't recall what they had done before that.
Yeah. Naomi has a hurt ankle as well. I guess she has a sprained ankle or something.
Oh, yeah.
That's important later, but not really yet. So they have no cell phone reception. They can't open the windows.
They realize they're in an entirely different school.
Yeah. Yeah, don't they comment that it looks like it's an elementary school rather than a high school?
Yeah, all of the chairs and desks are smaller. When they get to the entryway, the shoes are tiny.
Oh yeah, that's right. Teeny tiny shoes. Seiko suggests that maybe they're in a spirit world, which I'm assuming is correct.
Yeah.
Naomi's hearing voices, but Seiko can't hear them.
The giggling of children.
That's right. So at some point, Seiko just suddenly buries her face in Naomi's tits, right?
It was real weird.
It was real weird.
It heavily implied some sort of lesbicious relationship, but...
Yes, and this is more explicit in the game, apparently.
Okay.
Later on in there's a lot that happens in the game that isn't in the show. Oh, and then there's some stuff that they left in, which was really weird, like the butt salve part.
We'll get to the butt salve.
I mean, I think we're there now. Yeah, which was, and that does happen in the game, but there's so much they removed and left this in.
Right. We don't know why she needs this. We don't know what condition she has, but we know that she needs it.
Yeah, and it seems to be a regular thing as well. Because she asks it as though it's been asked and answered before. Mm-hmm. And then Naomi just kind of waits while she applies ointment to the buttocks.
Like, it's obviously done to give her a reason to need to go back to the bathroom later, but you know what else does that? Having to go to the bathroom.
Yeah. Also, I don't think that's even why she goes back to the bathroom later.
It's not because of the butt salve. It's because she thinks she left her scrap of the paper in the bathroom.
Oh, is that what it was? Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, Seiko, she has a little bit of a conversation about her little brothers and how she takes care of them because her dad works a lot. It's pretty clear that there's no mom in her family, although it's not elaborated on. But she's obviously taking the motherly role for her family, which I guess sets up the fact that she seems to know a lot about first aid because she has a reason to.
I guess so. If you're patching up your busted little brothers all the time.
Yeah. So when they find that they can't get out through the entrance of the school, Seiko says they should just find a place to sleep, and they head for the nurse's office, where she bandages up Naomi's foot. And we get another weird scene. This part implies the gay love aspect even harder, I feel like.
It does. It implies it pretty heavily, but she puts her in the friend zone despite all of that.
Yeah.
She's like, we'll stay best friends forever.
So this is the difference from the game here, because Seiko heads out because she's lost her piece of charm and left it in the bathroom. So she tells Naomi to wait there for her until she comes back. Mm-hmm. In the game, Seiko leaves because they hear, is it Yuka or Yuki? Satoshi's little sister. Yeah, Yuka. They hear Yuka out in the hall. Mm-hmm. And Seiko runs out to look for her.
Because they haven't seen anybody else. No hide nor hair at this point.
No. And there's a lot, in the game, there's a lot that happens before they get to the nurse's office. Mm-hmm. Because we're about to have our first ghost encounter here in the nurse's office. In the game, you've already encountered 3 or 4 ghosts by this point. And not all of them are bad. The first ghost you encounter is friendly, and he explains to you exactly what's going on.
We haven't had ghost encounters like that, but that spooky little ghost girl has been fading in and out of the background the whole time.
Well, that's true, but they haven't, directly interacted. I don't think they've seen her, right?
No.
I guess Naomi did see some spooky eyes reflected in the clock when she was looking at it.
Oh, yeah. And then she turned around and it was... what's
Seiko,
her face?
Yeah.
Seiko.
But yeah, the first ghost you encounter in the game, straight up tells them everything that's going on, tells them that he's a previous victim, that they're in a school where the ghosts of children are killing people.
Yeah, we don't even learn definitively where they are until the end of the episode.
Yeah. So in the game, they already know all of that at this point.
So they're on high alert.
So a clock chimes, and suddenly Naomi finds that she can't move or speak. A light comes on and a pen starts writing in a journal, which does happen in the game. And then blood starts leaking down the walls and bloody handprints appear. And those spooky eyes appear again, and, does the ghost sexually assault her at this point?
The ghost sexually assaults her. Let's not beat around the bush.
I wasn't clear, but it sure does seem to be what happens, yes.
It seems like it's trying to possess her, but why did it have to lift up her skirt to do that?
Yeah, maybe it just wanted to know what parts it was dealing with. In the game, you run around the room avoiding the ghost. It does not lift your skirt and do things to you.
And crawl inside your mouth?
I think if you let it touch you, it would crawl inside your mouth. If the ghost touches you, it warns you that, the spooky ghost gas is enveloping you. Mm-hmm. But that's the extent of it in the game.
Okay.
And you just kind of run around the room trying to solve the puzzle. In the show, well, first of all, Seiko finds part of a body out in the hallway.
Oh yeah, meanwhile, Seiko's getting traumatized.
Yeah, and this just doesn't come up again.
No? Like, the whole school is just full of bits and pieces of people.
But
Like, really gory viscera.
this one in particular, the one that Seiko finds, appears to be wearing their school uniform.
Yeah, I thought it was, and maybe it still could be one of the other girls.
I think it is. I got a little bit of a spoiler for the game for myself. So earlier on in the game, while Naomi and Seiko are exploring together before going to the nurse's office, you find just like splatter on a wall where like clearly a person has been splattered against this wall and just become chunks. And
I hate when I become chunks.
yeah, and in chapter 2, you find out, like, you actually experience this happening, and you find out that that was what was left of one of the other kids. And I'm assuming that this is the equivalent of that. But
Yeah.
instead of the wall splatter, it's like half a body with guts everywhere.
Guts poking out.
Yeah. Back in the nurse's office, Naomi is trying to tear some hair off a door.
Yeah, the entire wall is hair, which I find very relatable. That's how I wake up in the morning. I gotta claw my way out of a wall of hair.
Yeah, I'm getting there myself, actually. I don't think my hair's ever going to get as long as yours because I shed too fast, but... yeah, in the game, this is different. In the game, this is a puzzle. You have to, like... I think you have to, like, soak the hair in some kind of lighter fluid and then set light to it to burn it away.
All while running from the lecherous ghost.
Yeah, exactly. Naomi just kind of tears it all off the door until there's enough.
Because she's already been fondled. She doesn't have time for all of that.
She's been fondled by both a ghost and her best friend at this point, so...
Yeah, but I feel like the ghost is probably more upsetting.
Wait, 3 different people have fondled Naomi in this episode.
Oh, yeah.
They just, gloss over the fact that she's been sexually assaulted 3 times so far.
Listen, there's a lot going on. I can't keep track of all of the times somebody gets their boobs touched.
Yeah, the ghost is the only stranger that did it, but does that make it better or worse? Anyway.
Yeah, we've dwelled on that a little too long.
Don't touch your friend's boobs, folks. Don't do it. Unless they, unless they give you the signal.
Consent is key.
Yeah, exactly. Ask them if they want you to touch their boobs first, and then do it. So Naomi gets outside and finds a body with a mouthful of maggots, as you do.
Yeah, it's a real old-looking one. Like, it's been sitting there in that chair that wasn't there for a long time.
Yeah, and over her shoulder, a creepy little girl appears and opens her mouth and a bunch of blood pours out of it.
I thought it was weird that when she first clawed her way out of the hair room, there was just a lit candle lying there. I thought it was going to get addressed, like the candle that you place when your room starts getting too stinky with ghosts in Silent Hill 4. But no, it's just kind of there.
I think candles are save points in the game.
Okay.
So
she saved her game.
Yeah, this is the first save point, maybe. She doesn't get addressed in the episode, other than that the ghost was calling out for Sachan. But this little ghost girl with the red dress, I'm assuming is Sachiko Shinozaki, the main antagonist of the first Corpse Party game. Mm-hmm. I wasn't going to talk about her because she's not directly, introduced or addressed in this episode, but I would be remiss to not talk about the actor who's been providing all these giggles that we've been hearing, because it's someone fairly significant.
I mean, that's a voice acting role, so credit her.
So, Sachiko is played by Ikoe Otani, who we've talked about before. Do you happen to know who Ikoe Otani is?
I've heard that surname before.
Oh yeah, there's a few Otanis out there.
But no, off the top of my head, I cannot recall.
Sachiko's creepy giggles around the school have been provided by the voice of Pikachu.
Oh no, Pikachu!
Yeah, I thought when I found that out, I was kind of like, well, I have to mention it.
Pikachu creepily giggling throughout this haunted school.
Let's have Pikachu's voice juxtaposed against the creepy giggling.
Do it.
One after the other.
Pikachu!
And now both at once.
Pikachu!
There we go. That was fun.
So, even though we don't really learn anything about her in this episode, was not the game that they played at the beginning called Happy Sachiko or something?
It sure was. They were appealing to Sachiko, so...
I knew it. I knew it.
Yeah.
But like I said, I have also watched a couple videos on this, so I know a little bit. I don't remember much.
Yeah, I know enough to know why blood poured out of her mouth when she opened it here.
Because she got all of her teeth knocked out in a fist fight.
No.
Oh.
So Seiko shows up just in time to catch Naomi puking.
Just in time to get a verbal lashing.
Yeah, the whole time I'm like, why is Seiko not talking about the half a body she just found?
Yeah, like she's been traumatized too.
She doesn't bring it up.
She's just too aghast by what's happened.
Once Naomi's done laying into her, Seiko runs away crying. And as she's walking away, she senses someone calling to her. In the game, Naomi yelling at Seiko doesn't happen right after the ghost attack. Things are quite calm for a little while after that. But eventually she does yell at her and Seiko runs off. And then you play as Seiko for a while.
Okay.
So that's another thing that's truncated here. All of Seiko's playable segment is kind of snipped out for time.
I think we all know what happened here.
Or do we?
It's that Naomi got possessed by a tattletale. A bakuroba.
Oh, yeah. I forgot this was a Yokai Watch crossover.
Yeah. Years before the games even came out.
This anime might have been around the same time, actually. I'm not sure what... No, Yokai Watch was a couple years after this show was made, actually.
It's not that old, is it?
What, this? Or Yokai Watch?
No, Yokai Watch.
I believe it was like 2015-ish.
2013 to present.
Oh, 2013?
Yeah.
So it was the same year as this.
So it is a crossover.
Yes. Them being the same year makes it official. Everything that was released in the same year is part of the same universe. That's canon.
Mm-hmm. It's the 2013 metaverse.
Yeah. Sonic 3 and Knuckles takes place in the same universe as Friends.
We don't know that it doesn't.
Somewhere in the background of Friends, Sonic 3 and Knuckles is taking place.
If you squint real hard, you'll see him zipping and zooping.
In some shots of the New York skyline, you can see Angel Island.
You can see the death egg.
Oh, we've got to Photoshop some, Friends screens where you can see the sky and there's just a death egg faintly in the background.
Do it.
Like when you can see the moon during the day. Naomi doesn't know why she screamed at Seiko, so probably it was a tattletale. It could have been.
That's what I'm saying.
So she goes looking for her to apologize. She climbs the stairs, littered with body parts, which she has no reaction to.
I mean, by that point, they're desensitized, I think.
By that point. She's seen one body.
It was a really gross one, though.
Just because of the maggots. These ones I think these ones are worse, because this is just
That's
little chunks
true.
of people.
It's like a scalp with the skull removed, and it's just like hair.
Yeah. I think that's worse than finding a whole dead body. I don't know. It's anything that reminds me that I'm meat makes me way more skeeved out than an intact dead body.
Yeah, true.
So she finds the butt salve.
Just cast on the floor.
Yeah. And she goes into the bathroom and tries to apologize to Seiko. But she's been hanged.
Seiko's a bit tied up at the moment.
Oh, you did it.
I did it.
Oh, very insensitive.
Cut that part out.
I don't like stuff like this.
Yeah. That's why you have to joke, because if you don't, it's upsetting.
I know I'm not supposed to like this. I know the point of this is that it's supposed to make me sad and uncomfortable. And it worked.
It did, but at the same time, it really annoyed me.
Yeah.
Because Naomi spends like 5 minutes just talking to her while she knows that she's still alive, instead of immediately trying to help her down.
Right, because Seiko is still alive, and Naomi realizes that, and then she just kind of runs around looking for something to put underneath. And the whole time I'm thinking, just grab her by the waist and hold her up until she gets some breath back, and then go looking for something.
But instead, she's trying to pull her down.
Yeah. I mean, if she just grabbed her by the waist and lifted her up, then maybe she'd have the strength to untie the knot herself.
That's what I was thinking.
But, anyway. But even then, like, if she has to go away and look for something for Seiko to stand on, the smart thing to do would be to, like, hold her up for a little bit first so she can get some breath in her lungs.
Right.
And then it's like, all right, I'm going to leave you hanging for a sec. Literally.
She runs around the bathroom and finds a conveniently placed bucket of blood and viscera.
Yeah, which has more setup in the game. It's in the game, the bucket is actually outside of the bathroom, but you see it the first time you're here when she's applying the butt salve. So
so you know it's there.
Yeah, so you've seen it earlier on. It has a bit more foreshadowing. But yeah, just bucket full of blood, organs, intestines. There's some maggots in there.
Mm-mm.
And she still kind of hesitates about emptying it out. And I'm like, your friend is dying.
Yeah, like, you don't have to drink it, just dump it on the floor.
But then she gets back to Seiko with the bucket, and it's too late.
Yeah,
and it's too late because she was so stupid about it.
Because she had to sit there monologuing for 5 minutes.
Yep. That's such a Japanese horror thing, though.
To monologue while someone dies?
Yeah, just like monologuing in general. It's a visual novel thing that drives me crazy. Because I like visual novels. I prefer visual novels when there are choices to make. When it's just like a linear story, I get a bit... I'm kind of like, oh, all right, this is nice, but I would like some gameplay.
Yeah.
But my pet peeve with visual novels always is these long drawn-out periods where the character we're playing as explains how they feel about everything. And I'm kind of like, let me form that myself. I am this character. Let me feel how I want to feel about it.
Right.
You
can't just have your characters tell us how they feel.
Right.
That makes me feel angry.
It doesn't bother me when other characters that I'm not playing as are talking a lot, but when it's just my character monologuing, especially when they're just monologuing inside their own head.
Right.
That's when I start to get annoyed. And that's the feeling I had with Naomi here.
Yes, 100%.
So anyway, Seiko's dead, which I was sad about. I went away and looked into it because I was like, is she really dead? Because I quite liked her, really.
A lot of people die in this game.
Yeah. I mean, I specifically went to see who survives, and...
it's a pretty small list.
I mean, I think it's just Naomi.
Like I said, a pretty small list.
We get clips of all the other characters exploring, just to let us know that they are all in here.
Yeah, and we'll get to them eventually.
And then we see the sign outside. Heavenly Host Elementary.
It's the place!
It's the place from the spooky story about the place that this is. So, we touched a little bit on Seiko's feelings for Naomi earlier.
Mm-hmm.
This is way more explicit in the game. During the period where you're playing as Seiko, in between her running off and her death.
Does she have gay thoughts?
She does have gay thoughts.
Good for her.
She is in love with Naomi, but she also knows that Naomi is in love with Satoshi. So that's why she doesn't act on it. I mean, well, she acts on it a little bit.
She does bury her face in her boobs.
Yeah, it's all because she wants to be gay with Naomi, but she's afraid that Naomi's too straight for that.
Yeah.
So she won't be direct about it. She'll just indirectly grab her tits.
Just grab them in a totally heterosexual way.
Yeah, and comment on her butt constantly.
Tell us about her own butt and the ointments it craves.
Yeah, do you think the whole thing was just like every time she hopes that Naomi will offer to apply the ointment?
No.
There's nothing wrong with her butt, really. Oh, we're at the end, and the credits theme plays. Play the credits theme, me editing this.
It was boring.
It was kind of jarring, I thought.
Yeah, after everything that we just witnessed.
Yeah, we get a pop ballad. Not as good as the Higurashi ending theme, I thought. Didn't feel as thematically appropriate.
No. This game mirrors Higurashi in a lot of ways, but my hot opinion is that Higurashi is better.
Yeah. I'm going to say that for what I've seen of both right now, which is just the opening chapter of each, right now this one seems the more interesting of the two to me, but that might change. Because I feel like where we got to with Higurashi, nothing had started happening yet.
That's not true. The first episode starts off with Keiichi brutally murdering everyone.
That's true, but we never get to that point in the first episode. Like, I feel like if we watch further into Higurashi to where spooky things start happening, maybe I'll find that more interesting than this. But for now, this has already got ghosts out the wazoo.
True.
I'm gonna need some salve for all these ghosts coming out my pooper.
I feel like I would have appreciated this a lot more when I was younger and originally watching Higurashi, because it's a lot of gore. And that's what I was looking for.
That's true.
But Higurashi, from what some of our commenters have said, is, in its original form, a lot more cerebral. And they just really cranked up the gore for the show.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
See, I don't know how gory the show gets, because we definitely see a lot more gore in this than we did in Higurashi.
Oh, yeah. It's definitely not as egregious as Corpse Party, but... Apparently, it's more egregious than it is in the game itself.
So maybe I would like Higurashi more then once we get more into it, because I'm not looking for gore. Generally, I'm looking for the more spooky, scary stuff. Yeah, I never really find gore scary. I mostly just find it gross.
Yeah, unless it's a horror movie where they do really good practical effects, and then it's just fascinating.
See, I'm never... Like, I think it can be done well. It doesn't tend to be. But I'm more... my favorite horror film is Alien.
Mine too.
Because it scares the heck out of me. And it scares the heck out of me because it barely shows you anything.
Yeah, it's super minimalistic in its horror.
Yeah. It's great.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Alien.
No, Corpse Party.
Oh, okay.
Wrong podcast. Well, I liked this.
I did like it. I sound critical of it, but I had a good time.
But, see, this is weird because usually this is where we talk about the changes that were made in the dub, but there is no dub.
Oh, no.
It was released in English, but only with subtitles.
Oh.
Which suits me fine.
Yeah, that's the way I prefer to watch anime.
Yeah, but I know there's a lot of people who struggle with the reading.
That's fair.
And, I get, like, my brother prefers a dub, and I get it.
Yeah.
But I always would rather watch something in whatever language it was originally made in. Which isn't to say that dubs are always bad. I've seen some good dubs.
And I've seen some bad dubs.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, I don't think dubs are always bad, but they're never going to be exactly what the creators were going for. So I would always rather see the original language version.
Yeah.
Like, that goes for any language. I'd rather watch Asterix in French. We done?
Yeah, I guess there's no legacy since it's just a faithful adaptation.
Oh, there's a little bit of a legacy, actually.
There is?
There's a tiny bit of a legacy. Although I guess you could say it's the legacy of the earlier OVA, maybe. But the voice cast went on to be the voice cast of the games.
Oh.
So
Good for them.
the first version of Corpse Party that was fully voice acted was the PSP version, it was the first version that came after this anime. So there you go. There's some legacy.
That's it. That's all you get. Don't be
it.
greedy.
All you get is giggling Pikachu.
Evil giggling Pikachu.
Well, I guess it's time to end this episode of Horrors. Happy Halloween, friends and well-wishers and lovers.
Ooh.
If you'd like to become a lover of the show, head to patreon.com/superbreakfastfriendsclub and consider putting some money in our lover's pouch.
Consider putting some love in the form of monetary donations.
And then we'll send that love back to you in a multiplied form.
Through your ear holes.
Thank you, Jamie Core, for being our current lover.
Our greatest lover, some might say.
Oh, yes. Coffee.com/superbreakfastfriendsclub also exists, but no one loves us there.
No. They walk right past us on the streets. They throw nary a cent into our Starbucks cup.
Yeah, but we keep trying.
We're still out there busking.
Busking makes me feel good.
I hate you. Put that back in your mouth right now.
You had to have known that was coming.
I'm not the one who thinks about Ghostbusters 24/7 like you do.
It's Halloween. Give me a break.
No, I've got other horror-themed horrors to think about.
Bye.
It's just when we go out on a wet fart like that.
You're a wet fart.
Yeah, that's why you like me.
Yeah.